Welcome, everybody. My name is Red Baron. Thank you very much for joining the show. We've got a very special guest with us here today. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. So if you guys are new to the stream, my name is Red Baron. Thank you once again for joining me. I'm from FibbyCharts.com. We are predominantly a site that's designed to talk about crypto, but crypto kind of bleeds into other things, and it kind of gets into the woo-woo world. It kind of gets into the news cycle. It kind of bleeds into everything. So with regard to that, we're going to be talking to a very, very talented trans psychic, a trans medium psychic. So, and that's going to be coming up here in just a second. So I'm waiting for a few people to kind of go ahead and join us, waiting for our mods to come on in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So we're going to have a little bit of radio silence here for just a couple seconds while I get stuff set up and set out to the social media, and I'll be with you in 2 and 2. So hang on just 1 second. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Every once in a while, we got to do a little bit of radio silence to kind of let the world know that we're out here because, you know, it's all about getting your voice out to the world. Excuse me, speaking of voice, I'm about ready to lose mine. So, once again, my name is Red Baron. Thank you for joining the show. I'm from FibbyCharts.com, and we'd love to have you join our free Discord. And you can do that at theunfairadvantage.chat. Okay, so with us today we've got Veronica Jayne, and she is a deep trance clairvoyant and very talented lady, very lovely lady, fun to talk to. I've been kind of working this show, been kind of promoting this show. If you guys are new to the live stream, sit back, you're gonna love this show because she's definitely a fountain of fun. I'll tell you, some of the conversations I've had with her already, I've heard a lot in my day. I'm associated with a lot of woo-woo people, and she's making me sit back in my chair, and she's blowing the roof off. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my new friend, Veronica Jayne. How you doing, Veronica?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what you do and how you do it and how you learn to do it.
Okay. I am a deep trance clairvoyant. I also do healing, quantum healing hypnosis. I do Akashic record reading and healing for people. I'm a Reiki master. I'm a student of Dr. Douglas James Cottrell, who is also a deep trance clairvoyant in the style of Edgar Cayce, Ross Peterson, and Paul Solomon.
Okay.
So we're the next generation. I'm one of them, one of many. There's about 200 of us in the world.
200? I didn't know there was that many.
There really is. And a lot of them came from being trained by Paul Solomon. So you'll find them in their 60s, 70s, 80s.
I see.
A lot of them are, yeah, that's impressive, right?
Right.
And they're amazing people. And I'm trying to learn as I go and trying to always put new tools in my toolbox and expand myself, because the more tools I have, the more I can help other people.
Right.
And that's my purpose.
Okay. All right. Well, where do you want to go with this? So what do you want to talk about first? So we kind of outlined a few things we wanted to discuss. Basically, just describe your process, I think. Let's start with that.
Okay, my process. People usually find me. It's only in the last year that I've been on the internet, on Ramstein Reglin's YouTube channel, I have my own webpage now, lovelysojourn.com. Not much going on there, but just a quick little hello to people. And so this is the first time people have been able to actually look for me and find me. Before that, it was, if you needed to find me, then you'd have to find someone who knew me, and eventually you'd get around to finding me. But everyone who needed me found me, sometimes in dire situations. I don't like to deal with dark stuff, but I've gotten calls, there's a lost child, please help me find them. I have a relative who's dying, please help me save them. And sometimes the answer is, no, I need to give you healing and love so you can let them go and let them transition. Sometimes the answer is, let's heal them as best we can and try to save them, because this was not supposed to be part of their timeline and it was something horrible that happened. Let's see if we can adjust that or change that or fix that. Sometimes people just want to know their life purpose. Sometimes they have questions about their life path, their mission, whatever it is. So now this is the first time that they're able to actually find me and come to me and get the help that they need. And I've expanded that to quantum healing hypnosis, which is the Dolores Cannon method of hypnosis.
Dolores is a major person in this space, is she not?
Yes, she was.
Just a giant, absolutely.
Did the Convoluted Universe series and the Nostradamus series, absolutely fascinating. And so I've learned her method recently, and I'm still working on that, but to bring more healing to people, to take them through their past lives, to be able to let go of everything that happened in those lives, to heal through the layers, pull everything out of their light body, their spirit body, because we hold things from past lives in our spiritual body, and then it imprints into the physical body, into physical matter. And then we have the same problems we had 2,000 years ago, we have now, because we bring them forward with us.
And you and I have had a number of talks about your past history, which I do want to bring up in this conversation, because I think it was kind of scary at the time that it happened, but kind of fun to listen to from a distant perspective. We'll get into that. So you folks that are new to the live stream here, we will be talking crypto. We will be giving a few crypto predictions and talking about crypto specific things. So don't don't think that this is necessarily all about just woo-woo stuff. We will make this conversation poignant. We just want to introduce who she is and what she does first, to establish a little bit of baseline to understanding where this is all coming from. So anyway, continue. I just wanted to kind of get that in there.
So I was talking about past lives, and so of course I do the past life regressions, and it's been very helpful to me. You mentioned like my past lives and some of my issues, and we were just talking earlier today, and I told him, I said, my past lives have more of an impact on who I am today than the events of my current life have.
Give them a little bit of taste on that one. I think it's too good of a teaser to not to tell them about the spear. That one just blows me away.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, which spear? But during a session that I had with one of my mentors, Gloria Otero, she's like, oh my God, you have a spear in your back. Oh, you were assassinated. And I'm like, yeah, I remember. She's like, let me take that out for you. And, she comes and pulls it out. And she's like, ew, it was covered in poison. Hold on, let me get the poison out. She starts digging it out. And I straightened up and lifted my back. And for the first time since I was 19, my back didn't hurt in that spot. I always had like this little ache or this bad shoulder, or it was always like where my stress went, whenever I was getting sick or whenever I was run down, all of a sudden that spot would just ache. Well, that's what it was. It hasn't hurt since then.
Interesting. Okay, so let's get on to some current events here to kind of, because I know you got things to do and we're kind of running a little bit late. Apologies, guys. I knew we were going to run late because just a lot of stuff going on today. I'm on my second live stream for today, so we were going to get started at 8. We got started at 8:30, and we're going to kind of respect Veronica's time because she's 2 hours. I believe you're 2 hours after I am Central Chicago time, correct?
Do what you got to do, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I am good. All
right. So I'm all yours then. So let's talk about some current events here. So a lot of stuff going on in the world. Boy, where do we start? Let's talk some volcanoes here. What's up?
Okay. So RB knows that I don't listen to the news. I avoid it at all costs. It's not a good idea when you're a psychic to do that, because you need to know what's going on around you so that you can bring it into your consciousness, and then through the super conscious and be able to do readings on it without being surprised or sideswiped. So he talked about the volcanoes going on in the Canary Islands, and I almost fell off my chair. I said, "Oh my God, what? Are you kidding me?" He's like, "Why? What's going on?" And I said, that's huge. That's like a harbinger event. That is letting us know what's going to happen next. The Canary Islands are one of the keys for the coming earth changes. That's one of the ones at the top of the list. Now, what happens first? First of all, you're going to have a lot of volcanoes in Turkey. Then you're going to have Mount Vesuvius and Mount Etna erupting at the same time, spewing ash and making a big mess. Then you're going to have the Canary Islands. And then once that activates, everything goes.
And by everything goes, you mean what specifically?
Oh, all of the predicted earth changes that are coming, everything, that's the linchpin.
Okay.
So when you said the Canary Islands started acting up, I'm like, wait, what happened? I freaked out a little bit, didn't I?
Yeah, quite a bit. So by that, you had mentioned in our conversation, you had mentioned plate shifting. You had mentioned there's a big amount of concern that's happening right now where those who are not necessarily in the know of the chain of events, they're speculating, and they're pretty accurate to the things that you're saying. We're going to get those volcanoes. We're going to get the plate shifting, and that's going to cause a backlash that's going to send water towards the Americas, correct?
It is. It's going to send water toward the East Coast, and then the West Coast, because that's the ring of fire. Now, understand, when we make these predictions, sometimes there's just a gimme in there. What happens on one side of the planet ripples through and affects directly the opposite side of the planet.
Correct.
Right. So when you have something happening in Italy, you can travel around to the other end of the world and see what's going on there. So yes, you are going to have flooding on the West Coast. You're going to have flooding on the East Coast. You're going to have flooding up the European coastline, which is going to change forever. You're going to have flooding in Africa. Australians always think they're perfectly safe. We lived on this island. It's not going anywhere, this continent. And for the most part, they're right, but they are going to get a little bit of water sloshing on them. And they're going to be a little unprepared for that. It's going to be a bit of a surprise to them.
Now, one of the this wasn't through you. This was through some of my other group. They do not. And I don't know if it's necessarily within this event. Probably not. They're mentioning very, very bad things for Japan in the far-flung future. What do you see on that? Because I spent a great deal of time, as you know, in our conversations. I've spent a great deal of time in Asia. I have a love for that part of the world. So anything bad that happens to them, I really feel very, very bad. What do you see happening for like the Asian islands and stuff in the midst of this?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of problems with Guinea, Philippines, Japan, of course. About half of Japan is going to go missing. Most of Alaska is going to be gone during that same type of event.
Most of Alaska, really?
Yeah, all the way up to the northern portion.
Now, what kind of time frame are you looking at on something like that? Are you speculating on?
Okay, so we talked about time frames. I don't like to use my daughter as a time frame. But
please explain that. I had talked to some of my mods, and we were joking. Your daughter's like, "Could you please leave me out of your predictions?"
She really is. It's very upset.
Give her, and this is a very it's a unique way of looking at it, but it seems to be much more pragmatic the way that you do it. So could you explain to everybody the way that you go about trying to zero in on timelines?
Because there's no such thing as actually time on the other side of the veil. On the human side, in the physical world, we created this thing called time, and we abide by it very strictly. So when we ask for something, either in prayer or please, Lord, dear Lord, please help me, the sooner the better. You have to let them know the sooner the better, or you'll get what you're asking for 2 days before you die.
Be careful what you wish for. You might just get it, right?
Yeah. So you really do need to ask for it with a time limit. Hey, I live in a physical world. I need this the sooner the better. So when I'm looking at timelines for predictions, I used to use my daughter rather heavily, and her spirit was just so irritated and agitated. She's a very sensitive girl anyway. So I would do things like, okay, at her high school graduation, what's going on in the world? What's going on economically? What's going on with earth changes? What's going on with cryptocurrency on the day of her 17th birthday? What's going on in the world? And I use that as a timeline marker to zero in on what's going on. And she couldn't handle it. It was too heavy for her. So then I had to redirect that back to me and do little stories. Okay, it's my daughter's high school graduation. I'm sitting in the parking lot. I got here early. She's already with her group getting ready. And since I'm the first one here, I'm going to look at cryptocurrency prices. What is the price today on Shiba, XRP, Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah.
So teaser, while you mentioned, I'm glad you brought that up. So teaser, guys, you definitely want to hang out. We are going to unveil a freebie. We're going to give you a gimme here. Veronica is going to let us know what she sees for Shiba in this broadcast. So make sure you hang on, because trust me, make sure you put a seatbelt on, because a few of you might fall out of your chair. So, all right, go ahead. Just a little teaser there I wanted to throw in. So, go ahead.
So that's how I use her as a marker. Or I'm like, oh, I'm at her 25th birthday, and I'm in front of the bakery, but I got here too early, and they're not open yet. So I'm going to sit here in my car in front of the bakery before I pick up her cake, and I'm going to check the price of crypto. What is the price at blah, blah, blah on her 25th birthday in the morning? And then I zero in on those things. So that's how I've been doing it, to redirect the attention away from her, so she's not annoyed and disturbed by that in her spirit, because she really does feel that. Sensitive girl.
Okay. So from that, are you anything more to say about earth changes? We were going to kind of jump to, we're going to jump around a lot, guys, because I'm telling you what, talking to Veronica, you might start with one topic, but I assure you, by the time you're done talking to this young lady, you're going to be on a completely different vector. We, in past conversations, we start talking about the president, and we end up talking about Bigfoot. It's just the way it is, and it's fun. And so I encourage you guys, if while you're new to this channel, make sure you punch that like and subscribe button, because we're going to hopefully be able to do this every single Thursday. We're going to have a little chat with Veronica. We are going to be working on a project right now. Veronica is working. Let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit. Veronica's working on a system for herself. She's new. She's starting to deal with dowsing, correct?
Well, I've been a dowser for about 30 years
Well, specifically
now.
to this task that you're doing.
Yes, specifically to the cryptocurrency environment.
Right, so she's working out a system, so not quite up to snuff yet as far as to her standards, but we will be, I had already announced this to our Discord at the unfairadvantage.chat, that we are going to, in the future here, in the not too far flung future, hopefully, that when we get this to the point where we're ready to roll it out, we're going to make that available as something where she's able to do these calls once she's confident that she's got a lock on it, that'll be available if you'd like to get a list of the stuff that she's seen as a high flyer, or possibly this week's superstar or whatever. We are in the process of working that out. Is that where you want to leave it with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're doing good.
Go ahead and describe that process if you would.
Oh, for the dowsing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So, like I said, I'm trying to do a weekly thing. Now, here's what's funny, guys. Now, I'm not a big financial person. I'm kind of, stay in my lane. So I thought, let me try this crypto thing. I've done some of my own predictions, and I'll tell you something about psychics. We're a little bit lazy as a group. We see things and we're like, oh, that's really cool. Elon Musk at 2:30 in the morning, my time, is going to jump on and he's going to do a bunch of crazy stuff with Bitcoin. And I was like, oh, I got to get to bed tonight because he's going to be up and he's going to make waves and I can profit from that. Was I absolutely right? Yes, I was. Did I have the time right, the date right, everything? Yes. Did I set my alarm? I sure did. And then I just sat there in bed and looked at my phone and watched the prices. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Oh, I'm going back to bed. And I did nothing with it. So
For shame.
I've done this so many times. I can't even tell you. Me and my friends, my little psychic friends network here. So what I thought is, let me be a little more consistent. Let me douse. and figure out what the price is going to be next week, Thursday at noon. What's the price of these 15 coins? Then I went up to 25 coins. Let me just see how accurate I am and what I need to do in order to improve my accuracy. And then I had a friend come on and tell me, and then Arby came on and he's like, well, who gives the crap what the price is Thursday at noon? Nobody cares. That makes no sense. Why? Right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. He said, why don't you just look for the highest price or the greatest percentage movement for a handful of coins every week? And I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea. He said, that's what people care about. That's how you make money, is the difference between now and then within a certain period of time. And I was like, oh, right. So I was really burning up a lot of energy just chasing after, a couple dozen coins, when he's like, really, a handful will do.
A little dab will do you. That's pretty much the old saying. Yep. It's and the guys that subscribe to us at Fibby Charts and follow my regular ramblings on the regular broadcast know that I subscribe to the idea that basically markets move in unison for the most part. There's always a breakout. There's always a superstar. And that's what we're going to try to find with your dowsing and stuff like that, is those breakouts of those superstars and those early IPOs and stuff like that. But for the most part, usually we and I won't get into this because this is not the time and the place for it, but we have a theory called supermarket theory, which basically the manager, if crypto is an entire aisle full of cans of tomatoes and whatever, eventually the manager picks one or two and puts it on sale, puts it on the end cap, and those go crazy. So the job of every investor is to find out what's going to be on sale next week, and so that's what we're going to seek to do here going forward. Speaking about Elon Musk, let's talk about my boy Elon. What you got? We discussed Elon jacking up the time frame a little bit. Let's back up about 6 months ago and pick it up from there. You were telling me in our discussion that Elon kind of screwed us. That's basically what you're...
Yeah, so for people who don't know what timelines are, we're on a certain trajectory, and based on that trajectory, we keep going until someone makes a really big decision or a move, kind of a butterfly effect thing, and then they do something that takes the whole world in a different direction. And that happens when you have people with great power who don't understand that they have a responsibility to the rest of us, and they don't understand how that power works. So they just throw it around and they think it's really cool and they think it's really funny, but you screwed a lot of people. So when he started stomping on the timeline, to me it looks like a sidewalk when I see it.
And by that you mean stomping on the timeline with what particular action? I think we all know what you're talking about, but go ahead and say it.
Yeah, but didn't he did a whole bunch of stuff with Bitcoin
and his tweets.
And with tweets and going on the talk shows and stuff, and it caused a bunch of bumps and ripples that really weren't supposed to happen. So he adjusted or changed our timeline, and basically we're trying to get past what he did and get back on track. So it pushed everything off. It pushed off the alt season quite a bit. Did anyone notice that? Things aren't where they're supposed to be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of bringing it down to just the here and the now. We were expecting an easy slide into all season probably about 2 months ago, and it just got delayed. And no one could really I secretly kind of suspected he probably had something to do with it, but you can kind of see the cause and effect there, definitely. So we're getting to that, and just as kind of a heads up, we're looking at it in October now, aren't we?
Yeah, we've pushed it off quite a bit.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. So anyway, go ahead with Elon.
So the other thing that he didn't understand, his lack of understanding, is that he screwed himself too. There are supposed to be people that are supposed to come work with him in the future, within the next 10 to 15 years. Even some in the next 5 years. I see some of these engineers that are supposed to be coming to him and helping him take some of his projects to the next level. And they were going to use their cryptocurrency investments to get these kids through college.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
now bueno,
what?
right?
Right. Now they're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be able to get to him in the time frame that they were supposed to in order for him to accomplish what he was supposed to do. He screwed himself.
Mm-hmm.
So now they've got to find another way, another path, another means to finish their education, to finish their learning experiences so they can bring their genius to him and he can go to the next level.
Still think it'll happen?
It will happen, but it's been delayed by about 2 years.
Ooh, that's rough. Okay.
Yeah, he pushed off his timeline quite a bit. He messed up.
Now, who is that going to affect, him or the whole world? Well, obviously, he pretty much moves the world. That's kind of a stupid question, but I mean, will it affect street level existence as much as it would necessarily Tesla the company or SpaceX the company or something like that?
More like SpaceX, because there's some projects that he's supposed to do and some new technologies that he's going to be bringing forth with some of these genius kids that came into the world specifically to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically to work with him. And now he might have delayed some of them, not all of them, but some of them. So now his projects are going to be delayed and everything's kind of pushed back. And in order to get on the right path, he can't push them to go any faster because inventions build one technology on top of the other. You can't skip. You can't go from rocks and sticks to a supercomputer.
Correct.
There are steps in between. So he's now got to, he's going to feel the time compression later on. He'll feel it.
Okay. All right. So let's kind of transition a little bit to government. So Elon just had to be kind of there's a few things. I got kind of a short list. We're going to kind of keep it kind of short because I don't want to tease you guys. I want to see you guys back again. So we're not gonna give you the full course meal. You're just going to get one serving tonight. So we're going to keep you coming back because we got a lot to talk about, don't we, Veronica?
No, we do.
Again and again. We had planned on doing a lot of discussion on presidents, but I think no psychic discussion would be complete without at least kind of hitting a few of the points regarding the presidents. So what would you like to tell us about that?
Well,
talk about Joe. Let's talk about Joe and his current condition.
Yeah. If you go on the Ramstein-Reglan channel, I've done some readings with Tom as my conductor. And we talked a little bit about Biden and how I see him walking along, he's minding his own business, he seems very happy, and all of a sudden it's like he gets hit on the side of the head and he just tips right over and falls down.
Now I had questioned you on what do you consider that hit to be? Bullet, falling down, hit by some stray thing like a light pole falling over, or just, whatever. What do you consider that to be? I mean, it's all speculation, and we may never know publicly. True?
I don't see a bullet because there's no mess on the ground.
Okay, all right. Well, that's fair enough. And we may never be told that this is exactly how he took his exit. Correct?
Now, I think it'll be very public.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be. I see him like. Now, that doesn't mean this is necessarily where it's going to happen, but I see it kind of in a public arena where he's walking across a large expanse of concrete, and I see him looking to the left and waving at people, and all of a sudden he just takes a few steps and then down he goes.
One of our readers, or one of our viewers, says blood clot. Do you see something like that possibly being do you see it being something external?
No, it doesn't look like it's anything external. It's something inside of his head, it looks like.
Oh,
and I hear the word blow to the head. So, but that can also mean, bleeding inside the head.
Aneurysm.
An aneurysm, or maybe he loses his balance and falls down, and the blow actually happens on the other side of the head where he falls.
Could be.
I don't know, but I hear blow to the head. Those are the words I hear.
Okay.
And I see him tip over in mid-stride.
I see. All right. So we talked a little bit about Trump. We got to balance this. If you're a Joe fan, you're a Joe fan. If you're a Trump fan, so let's talk a little Trump. We won't get too deep with the other presidents. We'll leave that for another discussion. But tell us a little bit about what you think. So there is a faction that says, "Oh, any day Trump's coming back." So what do you think on that?
Oh, he does not want to come back. He didn't want to be there. He really didn't. It was such a headache for him. And I think his ego and his pride and his hubris really enjoyed the attention of it, but he looked miserable. His energy was low. He was constantly defending himself, and it was just horrible for him. Before he went into office, I saw him behind the desk, laying down on the desk. I see his hands in his head, his hands holding his head like, oh my God, whoa, this is horrible. And then swatting things away like flies, like everything was just bothering him.
Mm-hmm. You were telling me in our conversation earlier today, pre-show, you were telling me that, he has a duality about him. Could you explain that to everybody?
Yeah, he does. There are some things about this man that are not very nice. He really hasn't developed himself as a human being, and he hasn't really worked on his weak points and conquered them. Not at all. In fact, he's very childlike and immature in his emotions. But sometimes it's like there's a crack in him, and inside comes out something good. And it just comes out of nowhere, and it's always a little weird, and it's always a little off with his normal behavior and his words. But he in some aspects of himself, he really does want to do something good, or he does an action of something that really is very childlike and innocent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very out of character for him, you would say, because of his lack of development in his character and in his integrity.
And you used the word hubris when we talked earlier.
Yeah. There's a lot of that there.
Uh-huh.
And, that's a lot of that with human beings in general, but if you let it get out of control, it just cripples you in your development, in your spiritual development.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I see. Well, so I see it in my notes, and I just feel kind of compelled to bring this up. I hate to keep opening this wound again because 20 years ought to be about enough. But we just celebrated is definitely the wrong word, but we just marked off the 20th anniversary of 9/11. You and I have not discussed in general much of the events of 9/11. We kind of hit on it for about 5 minutes. What would you like to tell us about 9/11 as far as we earlier today you kind of mentioned something about people in purple jumpsuits. So could you kind of give us just a little of that? Not to go too deeply on that because like I said, I think we've gone enough. I think enough people have explored this, but it would be interesting to hear your take on it.
Yeah. So this is something that's been seen by me as well as other psychics is that this was not an unknown event. Like nobody knew this was going to happen. There were plenty of people in positions of power who knew what was going on. And they, to some degree, either cleared the playing field to make it easier for it to happen, or they just stood back and watched.
Right. Which naturally leads into, Bush and Cheney and stuff like that. You were saying that Bush really was kind of a side player in this.
He really didn't have any active role in it. His role was more, let's keep him in the dark so he looks surprised when it happens. And he was quite shocked. Yeah,
but the number two, that's a whole different story, isn't it?
That guy. Yeah, I mean, he's just kind of grimy in so many ways. People get their hands dirty and kind of pull up their collar and skulk around, and he's one of those.
Okay.
So he was always in the know about a lot of things, a lot more than he should be.
Do you think he was the one pulling the trigger or pulling the strings of a lot of Bush's activities? That's always been the public speculation by people that are just regular thinkers in government is that Bush knew very little. Cheney was the one running the place.
That was really it. I mean, he was calling the plays, and handing them to the head coach. Basically, he was running the team.
Gotcha.
Making the plays and so forth.
Gotcha.
There was really no malicious intent on Bush's part. He really is very childlike a little bit in his demeanor. He had a little bit of ego and pride here and there about a couple of issues, but for the most part, he really is not a bad human being.
Cheney?
No.
Or are you talking about Bush?
Bush.
Okay, I was going to say, please don't tell me you're talking about Cheney.
No, honey. No.
Okay. So, with regard to that, a couple other definitely not, some of this stuff is not fun. So, in one of our past conversations, we talked about John McAfee. So, that was one that I had from a personal. I'll tell you what, the guys that are not really following the whole saga of John McAfee, I'm going to get your thoughts on that here in just a minute. Got to kind of lead first by saying that there was supposed to be a drop that was supposed to come up, and I was up that time of night with a lot of guys that were on the unfairadvantage.chat. We were waiting for that big McAfee drop, and then it just nothing. And then it just rolled forward another 8 hours. And I'm like, well, what the hell was that all about? Nothing. And I'm like, was this just another one of these Q time wasters or whatever? We'll talk about Q here probably in another show. I want to get your thoughts on that. Not today, though. But from what I'm understanding, again, I get about as much news as you do. From what I'm understanding is there's supposed to be another thing that's coming out related to McAfee. What's your thoughts? Tell me about your experience with John. You said either you or one of the people you're associated with had an interaction in the afterlife with him, correct?
Yes. I was doing an interview for the Ramstein-Reglan channel, and we were talking about McAfee. And then he just pops up right next to me and plops his butt down on my desk right next to me, and he sort of leaned in, and he was like listening in on everything that was going on. And I'm like, well, as long as he's here, do you want to ask him something? And then, of course, he kind of spouted off and went off about a few things in his usual style.
You said he was pissed. The way you described him is you said he was pissed, is what you told me.
Yeah. Oh, he was hot and a half that he was murdered. He's just like, I can't believe, and I don't want to channel him too much here because I don't do channeling, but I will repeat what they say when they're next to me like that. But he was hot. Oh, he was on fire. And he was so offended, like, I can't believe they actually killed me. I can't believe they actually did this. Because in his mind it was more of almost an imaginary thing, like, yeah, they want to kill me, but kill as in an expression, not kill as in cut my throat, take my life, throw me overboard to the sharks.
Same as Epstein, right?
Right. He didn't see it as an actual thing that was going to happen. Epstein was a little different. Mm-hmm. He was surprised when they killed him, mm-hmm. and crying and whining and doing all that. That was a whole different thing.
Yeah, we'll definitely dig a little bit deeper on that in future shows. So with regard to McAfee, what do you see? What's up with the drops? Do you think that was ever a thing? I mean, do you think anything that he specifically had his hands on is ever going to come to light that's going to be the Great Awakening or whatever they're billing all this stuff? There's going to become a time when everybody's going to know about all the dirty dealings that are going on under the table. Do you think that McAfee had any dirt? And do you think that dirt is ever going to come to light and be useful?
I see a gift box. I see a gift box with a bow on top. Like there's still a gift to the world.
I see.
Or something that's going to come out. And I guess it'll be a little bit of a surprise, but there is one box of gifts that he has not, that hasn't been opened yet.
And do you see a timeline on that? Or a time frame on that?
Oh, hold on. It looks like the person, it's not a woman, it's a guy who is aware of this. First of all, he's like, be quiet, lady. I see his higher self, his spirit going, look, lady, be quiet.
Zip it.
Don't talk about it too much. But I keep hearing and seeing 3.5.
3.5 years? 3.5 years, 3.5 months.
No, not 3.5 months. This is like 3.5 years down the road. This
really?
is time to, plot, plan, prepare, and keep themselves safe because they understand the threat that they're under. They're taking it very seriously because they're not using the word, somebody's going to kill me as an expression. They understand that that's a very real thing.
I see.
They have to be very careful.
Okay. Well, there's a few. Again, we're on an open YouTube channel here, so I kind of got to measure my words here because I don't need any strikes and any nonsense from the powers that be. So there's certain things that we're not going to discuss that we will probably behind a paywall or behind a closed channel. This is kind of a get to know you type thing. So let's get to the funner stuff. Let's talk a little bit of crypto. I want to open this up a little bit to Q&A. I don't want to turn this into a circus, but if you guys got some questions here, I'm watching the chat roll by. If you got any questions for Veronica, let's just kind of throw it open. But let's talk a few things and start from the top. What do you see for Bitcoin here? Well, let's just go ahead and talk about that. The October surprise. You and I are in complete unison as far as what our belief is. I'll go ahead and leak my side of this, and you can fill in yours afterwards. I'm expecting around about the 15th to the 22nd to be the time when we finally light the candle. What do you think?
I keep seeing October 22nd. It's actually narrowed down quite a bit for me. It's going down to 1 day.
Oh, interesting. While you're talking, so go ahead and kind of describe what you see here. And I'm going to open up some charts and share with everybody what we do at FibbyCharts.com. So keep an eye on your screen here while Veronica's talking. And I'm going to show you our AI-powered charts and some of the predictions that I make on my regular channel while she's talking. So go ahead and just tell us a little bit about what you see, the events and that sort of thing while I'm screwing around here with the broadcast. Go ahead.
Okay. So it looks like then Bitcoin is finally going to come out of the box. I see a box opening up and like little fingers coming out and the eyeballs are coming out and it's looking around like making sure it's safe to come out, and then it's going to pop out of the box and then start running and taking off.
What do you see for, do you have anything, so to kind of explain what everybody's looking at here, so I've got this orange box right here on screen. That represents the 1st of October to the end of October, the 1st of October to the 30th of October. So I've been calling these drops all the way along, and I said we will not get past 53, and you know, by gosh, we've gone down, we bounced back up, ran up that channel, hit it and rejected it, and this is a one-day candle or one-day chart you're looking at, and we've gone down exactly like I said. So we are now starting to visit down into the lower. What do you see as being? How do you see this progressing from now till then? What do you see?
I see an arrow, but the arrow's divided into different, the arrow's going up, but it's divided into different color segments. And even at the top of the arrow, there's a little bit of red left. Like,
so give me, I guess specifically what I'm asking you is, like right now at broadcast, we're at 44,460. Which is a downtrend right now going into, so we've got, let me go ahead and do this off the top of my head, and I'm using one-day candles. So to get to our theoretical 15th of the month, well, let's say the October 15th, to get there, we've got about 21 bars, 21 days. So we've still got about 21 to 25, 26 days until we finally light this thing off. So in the next 20 days, can you get us dialed into what we should possibly potentially see as a bottom price, or would you want to dare to go that specific?
Bottom price. Give me a second here, because I'm switching out of my logic mind to the intuitive mind, which is mostly pictures and symbols. So let me see if I can kind of narrow it down.
Are you looking at your screen? Are you looking at our broadcast? You can look at my chart if you need to pick up on something.
I have to look at I look at the back of my eyelids when I'm looking for stuff in the future.
Ah, is that where you keep your notes?
I have to close out at least one of my senses in order to make it work. Let's see. So let's go. You said, what's the price today?
Currently, we are at $44,484 right now.
Okay, so we're looking for a low. Let's grab my pendulum and see what it says. So is it going to go lower or higher? It can go lower. Oh, low. 44, 43, 42, 41 and change. Could go down to 41 and change.
Okay, 41.
It kind of started turning at about 42, so it's got to be a high 41.
High 41.
So
yeah. In the next 30 days, the low. So right now we've already gone down to about 40 and a half. Do you think that we're going to turn and go any lower? We're kind of on an uptrend and a downtrending channel, and that may not make any sense to you, but we're basically bouncing up on the way down. We go down, we bounce up a little bit, we go down a little bit lower, we bounce up. That's kind of where we're at right now. I've got a couple of theoretical bottoms on this that my AI system comes in at, and I'm coming in at about 37,250 to a range of about 30, let's just say just proud of 34, 35. 34, 35 to roughly about 38, being kind of the box of possibility. You in agreement with that?
Well, let me ask. I want to see how accurate this is, how much I'm in agreement with him. Hold on. I'm going to go 50-50 on that one.
Really?
Flip a coin. Yeah. I'm not getting a high number on that. But I'll say this, RB. I might be full of crap.
Well, that's, yeah. I'll tell you what, guys. So this is a lot of times this is people that are just joining us here. I can say this lady is tremendously accurate on the stuff that she's done. I've seen her work. I know I can vouch for it. But every time you step to the plate does not mean you knock one over the fence. So if it ain't coming, you don't force it, right?
Right. And I'll be honest, I am still working on my technique in how I read things and how I do it and how I see it.
Crypto is a
Like
fairly
I
new
said,
thing to you, correct?
It is. It is. Not as an investor, because I've always thrown in $5 here, $100 there. Let's face it, I'm not a big time investor.
Right.
But for me to look at this as an intuitive, to look at it in a psychic way, most of what I see are pictures. Almost everything I see is pictures. So coming up with numbers is like looking through wax paper and trying to read what's on the other side a foot and a half away.
That's the way that I kind of describe it. It's like looking at a dirty crystal ball. You can
Yes, yes,
that's
it really
my
is.
most preferred expression. Is I've got a muddy crystal ball. It's 100% accurate as mud can be. So.
And it's very hard because once in a while I'll try really, really hard and I'll take quite a bit of time and I'll squint and I'll be like, this is the price at noon tomorrow, and I'll be spot on.
Right.
But wow, the amount of energy it takes to squint and see that. So sitting here on the fly, we'll see.
Okay.
If you want me to take another look, I will do that while you talk or talk about your charts. Let me know.
Let's take a look at XRP. You and I have had a very brief conversation on that. Mostly it was just crypto in general. This is just kind of an intuitive thing. Let me be clear on this. Veronica does different versions of what she does. When she goes into DTM, which is deep trance, a higher degree of accuracy, would you say?
I would say for a lot of things, a higher degree of accuracy. I have been able to also bilocate to the Akashic records and do readings while I'm sitting up with my eyes closed.
Correct.
After a long pre-meditation and relaxation and working on stuff, and that was extremely accurate as well.
Okay. Just as a fun little thing. I mean, I've got my. Let me go back and kind of recap where I've been here for the last couple of days. I mean, I've been calling for a downturn on this, and we are definitely following the downturn. Just recently, I said that we're going to be hitting probably around about this range right here, right in about the 85, 86, and ping, we came down and hit it. So we've rejected off this, come up quite a bit. I mean, even by my standards, I was rather shocked by how much we came up. We came up 16+%. That's ambitious, but we are in a downward trend here. So, there's two schools of thought here. There's the people that are wanting this thing to hit the dirt so they can buy more before it moonshots, and there's the people that have just had enough of this and they're ready to start seeing some more go. I'm kind of the mind that I don't think I can ever own enough XRP, so I'm hoping for one more go around to the bottom of the well. But the way that I'm looking at this right now, I'm looking at it as basically an opportunity to probably grab. I don't view this as being the crash. I view this as being a hard pullback. Then we'll have our moonshot in October, and that could be somewhere upwards of around about $10 or whatever. And then we are likely, as you and I were talking about, likely to see some sort of a real crash at the end of the year. That would be the true crash that takes everything down, that 60, 70, 80, 90%, whatever they're suggesting. So in this term where I see this is possibly now, because we're just running out of time for a real god-awful crash between if we're suggesting that this is going to go up in October, we can only go down so far before we get that 5x, 6x, 8x pump that we're looking for in October. So it's really more of a hard pullback than it is a crash to be expected. So in my mind, I see probably anywhere from 50 to 65 cents. Do you concur with that?
All right, give me a moment.
As a possibility for the next 30 days, at the worst.
For the next 30 days.
For a bottom.
And we are at 99 cents right now?
Correct. 98.790. 0.98790.
Okay, so I asked myself, and the intuitive state is always triggered by questions. So I have to ask myself the question, in the next 30 days, what will be the lowest price of XRP? A moment. Is it going to go up or down? It will go down. Okay. So 99, 95, 90, 85, starting to turn 80, 75. It's made a complete, almost a complete turn at 75.
Isn't that interesting? Now, for you guys that are watching, you just saw something I don't think you've ever seen on YouTube. I'm using what's called Anubis, which is Isis and Anubis are my AI system. Now, just lied before she said that. You are not looking at my screen, correct? You are not looking at YouTube. I'm using what's called a AI. These lines are written in by automated intelligence bots. These are not Fibonacci lines, and I'm just using what we call the unfair advantage grid, and I'm using my abilities and my reading and charting abilities, and I just showed you where I thought this thing was going to hit, and she hit it exactly. 75 cents is exactly what I just highlighted moments before you said it.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So there you go, guys. Buy it up now. 75 cents. Not saying we couldn't possibly just wick below that a little bit, but like I said, probably that's going to be good before we go back. I mean, it sucks. We'd all like to buy it at 22 cents. Now, I have said, and I still hold ground on this, we are going to see a day where we're going to see XRP potentially get down to 22 to 25 cents. It's going to be a crazy ass flash wick. You're probably not going to get involved in it because it's going to happen so fast you didn't even know what happened. But to be able to get this at sub $1 at the prices that we're seeing, have you ever done any kind of readings on an upper end? Because you're new to crypto, have you ever done any kind of an upper end reading for XRP?
I've done several over the past couple years because people have had a great interest in it, and some of them would not let me make public their readings.
I see.
But phrases included things like, it'll be like a tsunami. It will eventually come to, I'm not saying it's going to rule everything, but it's going to be kind of an underlying thing for everything. It's going to be everywhere.
As I expect. You can go out on a limb here. Are you thinking 4 digits, 5 digits?
Can you give me a time frame?
Well, I can go according to what I see with Anubis. I can tell you within 5 years.
5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 5 years is, what year? What year is this? Okay, 2021.
You went to public school, didn't you?
I really did. Let's see. Like I said, I try not to use my daughter too much, but when I start getting far out like that, I have to kind of, okay, let me find a way to use this. She's coming home for her birthday in 5 years. I'm getting the house ready and getting everything ready with the cake. And then she's going to walk through the door. But before she does, and before this whole thing kicks off, I'm going to check the price of XRP. 5 years from now, her birthday. Hold on. Her birthday's in May, by the way.
May of what year?
May of 2006.
Okay.
So we just passed it. Okay. So let's see. Is it going to be more than $1? Yes, it is. Shocking.
Damn well better be, or I'm gonna
try. Right. All right. Let me go up in increments here, and then it's going to tell me when to stop. So $1, $5, $10, 15, 20.
You might want to go up a little faster
30.
than that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's not moving at all. 50. Start there. Still not moving. 75. 100. Dang.
Try 1,000.
Okay.
Go up in increments of 1,000.
It's barely moving at 1,000.
Uh-huh.
But it moved. Okay, so 1,200, 13, 14, 15. It's almost there. 16. It's a solid 1,600.
Okay. All right. Fair
solid.
All right.
Okay. Does it go? Let me try something else. 5 years from now, $5,000. It's giving me a no.
No. All right.
A no at $5,000. It's a small no. but it's still a no.
All right.
It's like, something else is going on here. Something happened.
All right. So speaking of something happens, I know you've done readings on the settlement. What's your thoughts on that? On the settlement with the SEC?
Wow, that has been a ride, hasn't it?
Hasn't it?
Oh my goodness. What's funny is that I've looked at the people who are involved in the settlement and behind the scenes, and they all have XRP.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one guy though who really doesn't. I'm kind of surprised. He's kind of kept his hands clean, and he's just sort of blown it off. Just one out of all of them.
Really? Really?
Yeah. It's really funny. So they've kind of been dragging it out. But here's the thing. They're dragging it out, but it's not just them. There are, we'll call them the powers that be. We know who the families are that rule the world.
Yes, we do.
And they've had some influence on pushing this off because they haven't figured out yet how they want to use it and how they can control it.
There you go. There you go. That's this. And I've said this on the public, because my experience with high-level banking, my experiences with the powers that be, and I have a lot. I have been saying this that there's just they work on a generational agenda, generally speaking. But decades are really nothing to these people. So it's infuriating as it is to go week after week, month after month. It ain't no thing to these guys because they're already working with generational wealth. They haven't got their hands around it quite yet and how they can implement. So this kind of begs another question. Do you see XRP as being a good thing or a bad thing for humanity?
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And part of that is my human response. And then let's see what the intuitive response. I'm getting a thumbs up. It looks like it's something that's going to work well for payment systems. It's going to smooth everything out. The transactions will move quickly. They'll move easily. And I see frustration with some of those powers that be that it's bothering them so much that it works so well.
Right.
They just haven't quite figured out how they're going to make this work to their advantage.
I see.
And that's one of the reasons that it hasn't gone through yet. The case hasn't gone through. They're trying to buy themselves some more time. They're pumping the brakes because they want to acquire as much as possible, at as low as price as possible, and basically do a lot of hoarding and sorting out how it's going to work best for them.
I see. All right. Well, the time has come here. So I told you at the top of the show, or at the middle of the show here, we were going to kind of talk about Shiba. So let's talk about it. No sense in dragging it out. What do you see for Shiba? So Shiba right now currently is at 0.000050754. Way down there, sub penny. What do you see for Shiba, and when do you see it?
Okay, so back to using my poor kid as a time marker. This one actually is going to do very well. I've done several readings on it for people, and I'm always getting the same answer. When I see things, I see them symbolically. So when I see this tiny, tiny little puppy, imagine a toy poodle, micro teacup poodle puppy. Tiny, tiny, tiny.
Right.
Able to hold it in one hand, and it's just running around the house, and it's so cute, and you just have all of this love in your heart for this cute little critter. When I did Dogecoin or Doggy Coin, however you want to say it.
It's Doge.
It's Doge. People go, the Doggy Coin.
You mispronounce that, you'll get yourself lynched. It's Doge.
Oh, I know. So when I was looking at that coin, and people had asked about it a while ago, it was a good-sized puppy. It was still a puppy. It was running around. It was enthusiastic. It would jump up on you several times. It would lick your hands. It would wag its tail. Brrr, a lot of energy run around the house. This is below a penny, I believe. Well below a penny. And I said, well, it's a good little dog. I mean, it's very affectionate and loving, and it, licks your hands, and it jumps up and does tricks, and it's super cute. A lot of energy. And then the people were like, I don't know what to do with that kind of financial advice.
That doesn't sound like financial information.
But it jumped up several times. It didn't fight. It didn't take a crap on the carpet. It didn't chew up the furniture. It didn't attack the owl.
Right.
It was a good little dog. Wasn't it?
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
22.222, you 222 guys, you know what I'm talking about. 0.2229 right now, currently, as I
Yep.
show that for Doge. What do you see?
So it's
Well,
really
let's
well.
not
Shiba.
let's make them stay on the edge of their seat a little bit more for Shiba. So give us the end game for Doge. Where do you see us at the end of the year?
Oh, let me switch gears. It looks like it wants to take another run up. It looks like it wants to jump up,
I
but
would
you're
agree.
looking for a number. So where is it right now? 22?
2229. Point
So for
two
the
two
end
two
of the
nine.
year. And you're asking about the end of December this year?
I'll tell you what. Let's instead of doing the end of the year, the more relevant. I'm breaking my own rule. What do you see the high for the rest of the year between now and December? What do you see the highest point us hitting? Let's just do this properly.
Okay. So let's go. First of all, let's ask, is it going to go up or down? It's going up. Okay.
I would agree
So
with that.
22, 25, 30, 35. It's moving. 40. Ugh, it went back. Between 35 and 40.
Okay, between now and the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this started off being what really generated its claim to fame was indeed Elon Musk, and he just kind of seems to have abandoned this project. Do you see him being involved in this anymore, or is it just kind of set aside for right now and letting it age and then coming back to it? He's clearly moved on to other projects with the Shiba project and talking about that. Do you see him having?
He's already forgotten about it. He's already forgotten about it, moved on. I don't see him petting the dog. He's kind of pushing it aside like it's annoying him, and he's already gotten up and walked away from the dog.
Well, that may not necessarily be a bad thing for the rest of us because I'm getting kind of tired of his tweets. So that's every time. Well, that whole we talked about that whole Saturday Night Live appearance. I mean, I told everybody about 3 weeks before that happened. We ran up too fast. It should not have gone up that fast, and it started to go down. And then when he got on stage, the whole to use your words, it just kind of crapped on the carpet. right when he got on stage, and the whole market did. It wasn't just Doge, and so that was that timeline thing very clearly taking place. So anyway, let's get back to Shiba and talk about that. Where do you see Shiba at? Let's not
Okay,
keep
so
on.
let me tell you about the reading. This is a very cute little puppy. It's very soft and silky, and it's sweet, and it just licks and nibbles, and it waggles its little tail, and it runs around. And when people look at it, they just like, oh, he's so precious, so cute, and they have a real love and emotional reaction to this little pup.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you that it's going to do very well. It's still a very tiny little puppy. When I did a reading on it and the dowsing on it, I saw that, okay, what year is this? 2021, going to my daughter's graduation. I'm sitting in the parking lot. She's 15. I'm sitting in the parking lot, and I'm like, oh, right before the graduation, what's the price of Shiba? And I look at it, and for a while, I was getting 3 cents.
3 cents.
3 cents.
And
now I'm getting 2.5. Something shifted. I
Okay.
don't know what it is.
Still pretty impressive numbers. 2.5 cents on a coin that's 5-digit zeros before you get your first real number. Now that was according to my notes in our earlier conversation, that was by the year 2024. Not that far off in the future. So,
Yeah.
so you did look to 2029, which I can't remember what you tied that into as far as your daughter's life, but we were talking 2029. So clearly, by that, Shiba's still going to be a player. Almost 10 years later, what do you see Shiba at in 2029?
All right, let me find my notes here. That's not something I have to look at. I can just go, oh, I'm seeing it at like $3.
Oh, baby. $3. So there you go, guys. That's worth the price of admission right there. $3 Shiba. So can you wait roughly almost 9 years for that kind of return? One of my mods, I see logistical domain in my thing. Please give us how many X is that from current price? I don't want to screw up the show doing math, and you guys don't want to smell the smoke from me doing long division. Logical domain, could you please put up the mathematical
Okay.
amount of that, how many X that is for me in the chat? Thank you.
Okay, let me make a correction there. You said 9 years. Her 30th birthday, she's 15.
Okay.
Her 30th birthday is in 15 years. That's $3.
Okay. 15 years. So you're looking at how many years? 15.
In 15, but
Okay.
in college now she's 15. So I'm horrible at math. So in college, when she graduates, I'm assuming the 5-year plan.
2029, I believe, is the year we discussed.
Okay, that's at least 7 cents right there.
Okay, so there's going to be, now clearly there's a big change. Something happened in the force here from 7 cents to $3. What's going on? Do you have any sense of that?
I don't know. I haven't even looked at that, but I noticed that too, and I'm like, what happened? Why?
You know, the whole world's running on dog money in the future. Evidently, we're just out of good ideas.
It looks like there's some transactions where people are making agreements to use Shiba in a certain way.
So let me interrupt this because Domain just chimed in with the math on that $3. Folks, I told you wear a seatbelt. That's 400,000x. In other words, to put this down street level, you put $1 in, you get $400,000 back in what was that, 15 years? Not too shabby. There's a hell of a retirement plan for you folks. All right, so not to belabor that too much. So again, you know, anything over a penny is going to just be fabulous. You know, a penny is like, most people don't realize what a penny means to something that's 5 zeros down right now. I mean, that's life-changing money just to a penny. Can imagine $3 what that would be. So I mean, every day you wake up, you're richer than in the night when you went to bed before. You know, so not too shabby. Any other cryptos you want to talk about? Anything else that really grabs your attention? I've got a few others that people are asking about, but anything coming to mind you want to discuss? Anything that grabs your attention?
Just a side note, my daughter is also very sensitive. She has zero interest in anything psychic or any of the woo-woo, zero, but she is very talented. So one time I just sat her down and I'm like, hey, we haven't done the, what do I call it? The stories. Let's do the picture stories. And she's like, oh, okay, let's do that, Mom. And I said, close your eyes, relax, blah, blah, blah. Took her through a quick meditation. I said, so there's this thing called Shiba. It's some kind of cryptocurrency. It doesn't really matter what kind. And I want to ask you, when you graduate from high school, and I say, hey, honey, look at your phone real quick and tell me what is the price of Shiba. What price is it? What do you see? She said, I see 3 cents, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what I saw.
Awesome.
Yep. And then she said, can we go get some boba now? I'm bored.
One and done. We have one called Algorand. That now let me back up. So you and I, just before the show, we were talking about XYO. You said that's coming out of nowhere. It's in your conscious all the time. What do you know about that? What do you know about XYO?
I know nothing.
All right.
Nothing about
well, that's good. So since you know nothing, tell me what you know about it. So go ahead and take a look and see what you see. What do you see XYO doing by the end of the year? Let's just do that.
What's the current price on that?
Sorry?
What's the current price?
Let me go back. I have to get to my lower level charts. I don't have Algorand here. So let's go to gold charts. And Algorand is right there. Okay. So Algorand currently is at $1.9459. So basically just a hair under $2. Looking real good. This is a strong one that I predicted down just before. I have my own spooky little woo-woo habits here. You know, I point them out and then they light up. I told everybody, start paying attention right about here. And the minute I gave it, off to the races she went. So now we're leveling off. I actually pulled back a little bit here. I expect much better things in the future here because Algo is a very strong coin and one that everybody should have. So what say you for by the end of the year?
Okay, so the question is, what is the high price going to be by the end of this year, December of 2021?
Yep, sorry, I was talking Algorand. Sorry, I got on a different rant here. That was Algorand. Sorry, I got too many.
Oh, what are we doing?
We're doing Algorand. Sorry about that.
We're doing Algorand. Okay, $1.95.
Yep.
By the end of this year,
yep.
Algorand, the high going to be, all right, first of all, is it going to go up or down? Down or up? From where it is right now. Okay, wait. Okay, what I'll do is I'll say everybody, I feel the energy of not just you, but your whole group just leaned in on me, and I felt their weight.
Sounds about like my group.
Oh,
I told you, my group is probably one of the most dedicated. Yeah, that does not surprise me at all.
okay, that's okay. I'm going to put a shield up. Y'all going to sit down?
Are y'all listening? Sit back and relax here.
Okay, calm down. Have a seat. My goodness. All right, so Algorand, buck 94. Is it going to go up or down by December of 2021? Okay. Is there going to be a price higher than $1.94 by the end of December? Yes, there we go. Okay. So, buck 94, $2.10, 250. 260, 265, starting to move, 275, 285, 290, $3, smooth. Looks like it should hit at least 3.
Okay. By the end of the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I kept getting mixed signals when I was asking, is it going to go up or down? It's like, oh, there's definitely some downward movement on this one too. But when I asked what is the high, then it just started to move in the right direction and gave me the numbers I was looking for. So I don't think you're at the low point right now.
Okay. No, I would expect so. I'm expecting, and I've already got it here on the chart. I'm expecting probably a little bit of a micro drop to the top of this green chart here on my charts for the guys that are watching. But this, what she's telling me, I'm using what's called an opening and a closing move. That puts us up into this channel here, guys, very much in tandem with what she's seeing. So, are you seeing over $3 or under $3?
By December, last day of December, 2021. Let's see. Where's my chart? Hold on. I use a chart with numbers, minus signs, plus signs. Hold on. Okay, you said under $3 or over $3?
Yeah, and the reason I'm asking is because I'm highlighting something on the chart you can't see here. So.
Okay. I see in my mind 310.
There you go, guys. Dead nuts, right in the middle of my circle I just drew. That's exactly what I got. So. Looking good, Veronica. Looking good. So, all right, guys. So there you go on that. So we got. Let's get to XYO. That was the one that we started. Sorry, I got kind of a brain fart there. I'm having a Joe Biden moment. So, all right. So here we go. So XYO, we are looking at 0.0281. We'll just leave it at that. 0.02. So just a hair, just a very very small hair under 3 cents. XYO.
Okay.
So again, same question. What are we looking at for a high by the end of the year?
High by the end of the year. Okay. Sit down, everybody. Okay, I'm ready. High by the end of the year for 2021. Does it go up or does it go down by the end of the year? Is there going to be something more than this? Yes, there is. It's going to be going up. Okay, so 0.02, 0.03, 4, 0.5, 0.6, kind of stuck at 0.6, come on, 0.7, there we go, 0.8, moved a lot, 0.9, I got a big for the 9, big move for the 9. Within the next 3 months.
So you're looking at about what? 9 cents? 0.09?
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Not bad. So that's going to be about 4.5x, give or take.
Okay.
About roughly 4.5x. Not too bad for the next 90 days. All right, awesome, guys. So I don't want to overtax her here, so we're running a little bit long. I promised her we were I told you we were going to run long. I know how these broadcasts go. They never go.
No, but it's fun. It's fun.
So, had a blast, you guys. So, I'll tell you what, we're going to be doing this. This is something we're tentatively going to be trying to do on Thursday. So, we're just going to call Thursdays our woo-woo days. So, thank you very much for your time, Veronica. So we're just going to we're going to go ahead and cut this off. So again, if you guys would like to check her out and learn a little bit more about her, you can join her at, go ahead and plug your site.
It's lovelysojourn.com, or you can email me at veronica@lovelysojourn.com. And then you'll find me on the Ramstein Reglan YouTube channel with all of my readings, everything from the woo-woo, a little bit of crypto, a little bit of the weird and wild.
Right. So eventually here we are going to be having our own projects, which we're going to make Veronica a part of. We're just kind of hashing that out right now. It's just kind of in tandem or in transition. So eventually she will be part of our team where she'll be doing things and we'll be kind of doing a little more organized deal. But until then, we're just going to kind of just riff on the free channel for right now on Thursdays. And that'll do it for tonight, guys. So until next time, be safe, be good, and be good at it. Peace and hair grease, baby.